there's a few different ways you can look at this. So when I first get on with somebody that potentially wants to come into the program, I always tell them like you understand like what got you here is not going to get you where you want to go. So obviously like the eating bad, the not working out, whatever the lifestyle was before they entered the program, that lifestyle was not going to get them to where they wanted to go, and they understood that. But at a deeper level than that, even when you are starting to get to where you want to go, it's going to require new levels, um, new, a new level of yourself. Okay, so like the parent that's a parent to a newborn is going to look totally different than the parent that's a parent of a teenager, right? Because every time that kid gets older, like it requires you to level up your parenting skills and do something different than what you did at that point when they were younger, right? Because you can't treat a teenager like a baby, right? So that's just one thing. There's also, if you want to go into the business aspect, if you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Um, $1,000 business is gonna look way different than $1 million business, right? So you gotta become that business owner, that entrepreneur. That those levels have to increase as you increase. Otherwise, the satisfaction that you're getting from your life or your business or whatever that you wanted is not going to go in the right direction. Okay, and you're always going to be stuck. So even on your fitness and fat loss journey, when you get started, you get some quick wins. It's super easy, right? Because you change from that person that was on the couch eating potato chips to a more healthier version. Okay. But then you hit that dip. We call that the dip, where it's like you got some wins and now you got to, and then you start going kind of either backwards or you get stuck for a little bit and you got to really keep pushing forward to get past that dip, right? Um, and if you don't, you're just going to go backwards, which is a lot of the story that. What's up, Emily? Good to see you. Thanks for commenting. Um, so, where was I? So, basically, if you don't go forward, you're going to go backwards, right? And that's what happens to a lot of people is like it's easy to drop the first 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds, right? Typically, when you're going for weight loss, but it's like then you get stuck, and that's typically where most people go backwards without the support. So that's why I always say like the coaching is so important, because when you don't have that person in your corner rooting for you and making sure everything's going according to plan, and just because you get stuck doesn't mean everything's not going according to plan. There's things happening inside, guys, that you can't see, whether you're building muscle, you're losing some fat slowly, whatever. Just because the weight didn't move on the scale for 1, 2, even 3 weeks doesn't mean you're stuck. Okay, it takes 3 to 4 weeks before you can even know if you're truly at a plateau, right? And that takes patience, and it's frustrating. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it isn't. So like in my own journey, knocking off the first 5 or 10 pounds was easy, right? Like I knew that would happen. And then it got gradual to where it was just 1 pound per week, like steadily 1 pound per week. And I thought that shit sucked. I was like, man, 1 pound per week, I'm doing all this work and like did it. And I was just focused on the outcome so much, right? I was just focused on the outcome, like, and it wasn't happening fast enough, and it was frustrating. Like I never gave up. I followed through. I trusted the process of my coach, but like it was still frustrating. It's like, man, this is painstaking, 1 pound per week. But now what's going on in my own journey is that I'm literally losing a half a pound per week, right? Because what got me here isn't going to get me to where I want to keep going, right? And to be completely honest and transparent, I'm a snacker. So, like, I feel like as long as I'm in a deficit, I can get away with a few, like, hey, grab some popcorn here, grab an extra piece of meat here, whatever. And that had worked for me up until this point. And now it's like my body's like, no, like you got to be spot on with your stuff. Otherwise, we're not giving you even that half a pound per week. So it's really taking um, a better mentality for me and more discipline for me to just lose that half a pound per week. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually it might be like not even a half a pound per week, right? Like something that's not even measurable until I go 2 or 3 weeks and then I finally drop a pound, right? And that really takes a whole new level of discipline and focus, and not focusing on the outcome, right? Because when you just focus on the outcome, like nothing ever happens fast enough, right? But if you focus in on the daily habits, the structure, how you're feeling every day, the fact that you gave up that crappy lifestyle for this better lifestyle, you're still going to be happy, okay? Even though it might not be progressing as fast as you want, even though, you feel like, it should be happening faster and you're working so hard for this and da 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 da, like whatever story you're telling yourself in your head that here's the problem is we're all like entitled, right? We all think we deserve way more than we really do. Like, who's to say what you deserve? Like, why do you think you deserve something more than the next person? Or like, why do you think you deserve this certain thing, right? Because what you got right now, like somebody else around the world would kill for that, right? So you really have to put that into perspective. It's like, stop the entitlement. It's an entitlement trap. It's really like you're focusing on the wrong things and you're not being grateful for what you got, right? Just the fact that you change your lifestyle, like you should be grateful for that. Because even if you don't ever move again on the scale, like you still have that lifestyle intact as long as you're not negative about it and like, oh, I'm just gonna give up. Because like at the end of the day, like giving up is not a solution. It's not like something that should ever be in your head to where like, if I don't lose this weight, I'm just gonna stop doing my healthy habits that I've been doing up until like that doesn't make sense, right? It's like you get a flat tire and you pop all four of them because one's flat. Like, don't self sabotage yourself that way. Okay, so focus on those daily habits that got you to this point, and then also like that new level. What I'm talking about is like, what do you got to do to get past that, right? Because the most successful people in the world, they don't sit there and go, well, this is supposed to be working. Why isn't it working? They go, how can I make this work to my liking better, right? They try to figure it out too, right? So like for me, I like to eat, so like me cutting more calories out of my nutrition to maybe drop faster, like it's just not gonna happen because I'm like already having trouble sticking to where I'm at right now. So for me, I'm in my head thinking, okay, if I do want to speed this up, if I care this much about this, maybe I should start running 2 or 3 miles every day on top of what I'm already doing, right? Just to get to that point where I need to go to be able to go back into maintenance or start building again, right? So like what happens when you go into fat loss phase, your fat loss phase, fat loss phase, fat loss phase, okay, your body can't be in fat loss phase forever. So you need to have maintenance phases. You need to have refeeds. You need to have even a building phase, okay? So we got a couple people in building phases right now where they're eating more calories than their body needs to help build muscle, right? My goal for myself is to get into that phase because, dude, when I can eat like that, like I can eat more than I'm supposed to, like I'm gonna be a happy guy, right? But like I gotta shred this fat off first before I can do that. And it's like maybe 10 pounds, right? Like it's not much, but like I'm not going that extra mile right now. Um, like I could be, right? So I could do, the extra 2 or 3 miles per day running or something like that to just burn more calories and still have my food the same, right? Or I could cut my food. Like I'm not willing to do the food, so I need to look at how can I be more active? How can I get more steps in? How can I um, do something like that where I'm going to speed up my results? Okay, because people who's had great results in this program, they've gone above and beyond and did that. They gone above and beyond than what their coaches even told them to do, and they made that happen for themselves, right? And I'm not saying don't listen to your coaches. Like we're giving you the plan, but the plan's going to take time, right? So we're in it for the long haul. And if you have trouble thinking that far ahead, then you need to figure out what you need to do at this present time to make sure that your results are adequate with what your expectations are. Okay, because over the long haul, it's still going to be the same outcome. It's just do you have the patience to wait that long? And I don't have a lot of patience, but I also know like I'm in this for life. Like I'm just always going to do this no matter what. Even if there'll be a point where I go, yeah, I'm good with my physique. I like feeling good, that type of thing, and I'll just be in maintenance forever. Like I'll just always have the same calories, same activity level, and I'll be kind of at a just at a place where I'm comfortable, right? And that's where you want to be eventually. But like those habits that got you up to this point, you can't let those habits go because you're just gonna undo everything. So like it's not only about leveling yourself up to the next level, but it's also about like keeping those same foundations that we push so hard on you guys to make sure that you're still you know maintaining that success that you got in the first place. So hopefully that makes sense. Kind of went off on a tangent there, but the moral of the story is like you always have to level up. Okay, going back to that parenting thing, like because most of us are parents in here, like you can't. You when your kids grow, like you have to grow with them. Your level of parenting skills have to increase, right? Um, and that goes with anything in life. So, and the fitness is no different than that. Like as you start to shred more body fat and you stop dropping 5 pounds per week, like some people do when they first start, and it's going down to one per week, you need to practice patience. You need to practice those good habits. And you also, if you don't have the patience, need to look at how you can level yourself up. What more can you do? Because I've learned a lot that it's about volume, right? The way I've been so successful with a lot of my stuff is like volume, like doing more than the next person, right? If I can do more than the next person, I can lap that person eventually, right? So you got to kind of think like that. How can I lap my old self by doing more volume, right? So it's not about killing yourself in the gym all the time or anything like that either. Maybe it's like you need to cut something out. Maybe you need to add something, just a lot of different ways. So if you have trouble figuring out what that is, talk to your coach. Okay. But it's also not about speed. So don't go about to your coach like, I need to speed this up. Sometimes you just got to be okay with how fast you're going. Okay. Because if you're doing it the right way, it's going to be a long term result, right? As opposed to doing it the wrong way, which a lot of us have done that in here, lost it quick, and again gained it right back. So it's a 97% failure rate, guys. That people that lose weight end up gaining it back within the first 2 years, right? So 97% of people do that. That's because 97% of people are doing it wrong. Okay, you guys in here are doing it right if you're following the program. So keep that in mind. Have patience. Think long game, guys, because I want to shout a couple people out here too. So I know, I think Blanca, Lucas, Schroeder, and Angelo. There might be a couple others. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Have been in the program for right around 6 months now. Okay, and my goal is to have everybody in the program for like a year, guys, because I honestly feel like you need your own personal coach for like a year to make this thing stick. Okay, and that's not me just going, I just want you in my program for a year. Like, of course, I want you guys all sticking around, but like, um, I have had already quite a few people that dropped off after 16 weeks, 26 weeks even, that I can do this myself, right? And then I follow up with them on just, hey, how you doing? Still care about you, want to know how you're doing. Oh, I've maintained. Great, you maintained, but that wasn't your goal. Your goal wasn't, you didn't leave the program going, I just want to maintain. Most people still had 15, 20, sometimes even 50 pounds they need to take off, you know. And I can't help but think and say, if you would have stayed in the program, we would have had that off because you had that support system. So people are just, I think they don't understand how important. They see the system, they see, oh, okay, there's nothing to this, right? And I always say that, like, what's simple is not always easy, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it. But, like, that also doesn't mean that, like, there's nothing to the program either because, like, the support system in the program, like, that's huge. That's 90% of it, right? Because if you don't have that, and I'm speaking from pure experience, like, you know, I wasn't successful in this like for good until I had my own coach because I knew exactly what to do. I just wasn't doing it, right? So we always say we're going to show up better for that coach and we're going to show up for ourselves sometimes, which is okay. We all need that, I feel like. So shout out to those guys that's been sticking with it and been been plugging away for the last 6 months. And here's the thing, guys, is like, is this program cheap? No, it's expensive. Like I know it's expensive, and that's for a reason. It's expensive, one, for to pay your coaches good, because I want to make sure that they're taking very, very good care of you guys. Like, and if they're not getting paid good, they're not going to want to do that, right? The other thing is for you guys. It's more for you guys than it is for us. It's making yourself move, okay? Because if it's $100 a month, 150, like, how many times have you spent that? Like, you guys spend 25, $30 a week on bullshit, right? So, but the good news is like after the program, your initial program, we get into more manageable weekly payments, because my goal is always at the end of the day, I want you to have a coach for two, couple, two, $300 a month to make it manageable for you, still get that support and still keep those routines in play, right? Because if we don't have to work with you as much, we don't have to charge you as much, right? When we first come in, it's like some of you guys, we gotta like overhaul, like we gotta overhaul your whole entire life, right? But once you complete the initial 16 weeks, 20 weeks, whatever it is that you initially need, we feel like you need at first, then we can go into more of not so much of a maintenance, because you'll still be dropping and things like that, but we can go into more of a like, okay, cool, you're a good student, you kind of know what to do. We're going to make sure you're still doing it in 10 weeks from now. So it's going to be a little bit cheaper for you, okay? So that's kind of my vision of the program. Like, I want to have every single person that's watching this, that's in my program right now, on that $200 or $300 a month, you know, routine package. Like, because if your health isn't worth $200 or $300 a month, like, this probably isn't the right place for you, because like everybody that's in here has invested, um, and will continue to invest. Like, I spend probably thousands of dollars on my own health. Now, I don't expect you guys to do that every month or anything like that. I obviously have a few different reasons why I need to be peak performance, all of that good stuff for my business. You guys should be peak performance, and you should care just as much, but it's obviously just it's a different lifestyle, right? So that's kind of my goal for everybody. Like, I want you guys all just rolling, just keep on going, right? That type of thing, like where it's just, you know, a year program with a coach um is not like crazy at all. Like, I think you definitely should, right? And I think that you're going to see that as we progress into the future more. So like, this COVID thing just really just pushed us into the future about 10 years, right? I think you'll see more people with their own personal coach, maybe more life coaches, that type of thing, because people really need that. So I like to say this is almost like life coaching, because we can dial in your nutrition, your fitness, your mindset. Like, how much other stuff in life is there outside of like your personal relationships with other people, which we go into that a little bit, but again, that's not our forte. So I think if you did this program, it's a form of life coaching, and I think that if you solve this problem, your health, because it's a foundation to everything that you are, if you can solve this problem, you're going to solve a lot of other problems in your life. So I truly believe that, and that's why I'm so passionate about doing this. It's why I sold my gym. The gym didn't solve the problem at the end of the day. It wasn't personal enough. Like, and gyms are great. I still love gyms. I go to the gym every single day. But this is where we change lives.